Samson was facing a problem he could not solve. As a physics student, he was used to facing mystical riddles about relativity and quantum mechanics, which made him wish he was an art student instead. But this problem was different. Samson had to figure out how to get to the physics class on time. But the class took place at the much-loathed 8 a.m. time slot. And Samson was a nocturnal fellow. All kinds of productive ideas fermented in his head after the sun went down. So Samson did the only thing he knew. He missed class after class. His excuses piled up. Everything from a malfunctioning alarm to a crippling hangover to a mountain of laziness triggered by greasy pizzas at a birthday party. Coffee didn't work. Samson drank too much of it, got excited, pursued strenuous tasks to satiate said excitement, tired out his brain in the process, and slept even more.
At the time of the birth of the universe, there was only a single point, a singularity which exploded and gave rise to everything we see and beyond.
Leo was Samson's best friend. He was sitting in the last row of the Physics of the Universe class, taught by Mr. O'Reilly. Leo was enthusiastic about many things, but cosmology was not one of them. At present, he was lost in the delicious violence of a superhero movie he'd watched last night, slightly drunk. There was some physics involved in those fight scenes, so any diligent lawyer could argue that he wasn't slacking off in class entirely.
And what name do we give to this explosion? You, back there.
In Leo's mind, Batman was about to deploy his batarang when a sudden shake of his shoulder by the boy sitting next to him dissolved the entire scene and brought up another one, that of a class, with 50 students and a bemused professor looking straight at him. The tension in the room told him that the question had already been asked, and he had not heard it.
The Big Bang.
Someone whispered next to him.
The Big Bang.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you so much.
Someone whispered again. Experience told Leo to trust this voice.
Thank you so much.
Right, okay. Don't get too excited. It would be an embarrassment if you didn't know that. So knowing it doesn't exactly deserve a medal.
Leo was too sleepy to taste the snipe. Also, the professor was a soft talker, so Leo didn't exactly hear him on the last. One could say that he just heard some mumbling.
Right, of course. The medal I deserve but do not need right now. Wait, what?
Fortunately for him, the professor returned to the story of our universe's grand birth. 5 minutes later, he stopped to take attendance. He always started the roll call with the students he had never seen.
Samson.
A very long but completely expected silence greeted him.
Does anyone here know him?
Several heads turned in the direction of Leo. Unfortunately, Leo's mind was now imagining a tense confrontation between Batman and the Joker.
Leo, is it?
The sound of his name was like a rocket exploding inside Leo's skull, sending Batman and the Joker scurrying as he snapped upright in his chair.
Could you tell Samson to come to class and see me once in a while?
Yes, of course, sir. I will tell him about the thing you said.
Right.
Later that day,
Mr. O'Reilly asked about you today in class.
Damn it. That's the one at 8 in the morning, isn't it? I've lost count of the number of classes I've missed.
You've missed enough to get yourself to the top of the roll call.
There goes any hope of a proxy.
Why have you not come to class?
Look, I've been trying, okay? Nothing is working.
A loud alarm.
Snooze button.
Coffee?
Overcompensation.
Sleeping pills?
Woke up 14 hours later with pimples all over my face.
Make a friend wake you up.
I once slept through a magnitude 8 earthquake, so a mate shaking my shoulder will not be enough.
Shaking your shoulder? How about a pail of cold water to the face?
That's a bit too dramatic for me. How do I get up at 8 and still be nocturnal?
I'm sure a battery of sleep scientists are working overtime figuring that out.
Wait, I've been going about it the wrong way. I've tried a dozen ways to wake up early, but what I should just do is stay up all night.
That idea may just be stupid enough to work.
indeed it was, with a combination of caffeine, in moderate doses to prevent overcompensation, and combo-heavy video games, Samson kept himself completely conscious and comparatively chirpy till the chime of his cuckoo clock announced the cosmology class.
Today, we will look inside of a black hole.
Samson felt like a black hole had taken residence inside his skull. He had been awake for 22 hours. A tedious thrumming inside his head clamoured his eyes to pull the curtains down. He fought it, second by painful second. The end of the class finally loomed near. The professor stopped for roll call.
Samson.
He called out, expecting the usual silence.
Here.
Samson replied, shattering that silence.
Good morning, Samson. It's nice of you to finally decide to join us.
Yes.
I can only wonder what calamitous circumstances prevented you from coming to any of my earlier classes.
I had to visit my relatives for a wedding.
Where was it?
Mumbai.
What was the name of the bride?
Ria.
It took you rather long to come up with that.
Well, they're only distant relatives. I don't know them that well.
Why attend their wedding then?
Parental pressure.
I see. And the wedding took 2 months.
Well, no. See, there was also a period of recovery.
Recovery? Did the ceremony take place at the peak of Mount Everest?
No, I meant the recovery from the nasty cold I got just after the
And
wedding.
you went to your doctor for a certificate, right? You know the rules.
By the time I was fit enough to step outside, the cold had already gone.
Mr. O'Reilly sighed at this shockingly unoriginal fib. The students were losing their mojo. Wrecking their house of lies wasn't even a challenge anymore.
All right, Samson. I'll give you one last chance. If you miss one more class, you have to come to my office with some proof of the wedding and your infirmity. Otherwise, I will be forced to lower your final grade. Are we in agreement?
Yes, sir.
Samson and Leo walked home after class.
You know, the professor was talking about singularities, points where all the normal rules of physics break down. That's kind of like me at 8 a.m.
Except the Big Bang created the universe. You just create elaborate excuses.
Fair enough. But man, that was a close shave, what?
I thought for a second that he saw through the whole thing.
See, that's the thing. I think the prof knows I was making it all up. I think he just gave me a chance out of kindness. But, you know, I've learnt something today. Everyone is unique. We should explore and understand our body clocks and circadian rhythms and be in sync with them. We owe it to ourselves to live our lives to the fullest.
For someone who never makes it to class, you sure have a lot of theories.
Newton had his apple tree. I have my 3 a.m. Wikipedia rabbit holes.
But aren't you trying to justify all the classes you've bunked by lazily slapping a cliched moral to your sad adventures?
I guess that's the advantage of telling your own story.
But why do you keep missing class? The real reason.
Samson was too tired to maintain his usual defenses.
You know how everyone talks about their passion for physics? The big questions about the universe? Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't get it. Like maybe I'm in the wrong place.
You think anyone was born knowing physics? Even Einstein had to show up to class first.
Samson smiled faintly.
Yeah, maybe that's the real singularity I need to break through.
As they reached their dorm, Samson glanced at his phone.
Hey Leo, wake me up at 7 a.m. tomorrow, even if it requires a pail of cold water to the face.
You sure?
Yeah, time to start my own Big Bang.
And so, like the universe itself, Samson's journey of personal growth and change would begin the next morning with an explosion. Though in his case, it would be more of a splash.